A what? Yeah, exactly. This is Faroe Island salmon burgers from Egg Harbor. Egg Harbor is the seafood version. Okay, we're going to do crab cakes first. This is the seafood division, if you will, of Rastelli. So we're going to talk about jumbo lump crab cakes. You're getting 8 of them, and these are 6 ounces. These are good-sized crab cakes for $21.82. You do not find this quality of crab cake in a grocery store. This is purely, again, linen tablecloth designs. We have these also on auto delivery, which will lock that price in no matter what happens in the cost of everything. Everybody's talking about the cost of eggs. One of the primary ingredients to make a great crab cake is the egg to get the batter perfect. Brittany, what makes your crab cakes different than what we see at a grocery store? And I hate to even pose that question. Welcome back, Ray.
No,
Right. Oh, thank you.
No, absolutely. It's a wonderful question. So at Egg Harbor, these are made in small boutique batches with all jumbo lump crab meat. So there's no other parts of the crab that we're using here.
And it's blue
just
crab,
to give you
right?
It's blue
That's
crab
exactly
and
right.
it's jumbo lump crab meat. So just to give you an idea of why jumbo lump crab meat is special and why it's rare, there are only 2 jumbo lumps in every single crab. Not every single crab cake we're giving you, but crab.
Right.
So think about how long it took just to pick, you know, these few right here. There's a crab, here's a crab. It just takes a while to get all of these jumbo lumps. So, you know, when you hear jumbo lump crab meat, sometimes there's other crab mixed in. This particular crab cake, it's just that. And what we do is we take those ingredients, like you said, the eggs, a little bit of mayonnaise, tiny bit of breadcrumbs. We mix all of that together first with some seasonings. And we add those jumbo lumps last. And the reason we do that is because they're very delicate, so they can fall apart really easily. So we add them last just to eliminate as much breakage as we possibly can for you so that you're getting that crab cake that you can see the lumps throughout, but the ones that do shred a little bit, it's still completely all through your crab cake. So the star of your show for the Egg Harbor jumbo lump crab cake is the crab.
And Brittany, this particular crab cake is actually over 80% crab meat, Dan. So I want you to think about that. All those little crabs that Brittany was just explaining, right? Only 2 in every crab. Over 80% of this meat or this cake that you see here, right? Over 5 ounces of that 6 ounces is all just that jumbo lump crab meat.
Now, these are
go ahead.
I was going to say, these are a very large size, so you're receiving, you know, a crab cake that's going to go a long way. We can use these to entertain. Ray and I are going to show you one of our Valentine's Day tricks or entertainment tricks tonight, but they can be cooked in your oven or in your air fryer, and from there you can make it really, really fancy and have your surf and turf, which is kind of our thing, right?
It is. You know what, whether we pair with like those 2-ounce filet medallions or even the pork ribeyes. We often will do the pork ribeyes with a piece of seafood, a salmon, or the crab cakes. It's an exceptional way to have a surf and turf without the cost of the lobster tails.
And that 6-ounce size that's an entree size.
It's huge.
Yeah,
it
that's
really
not
is.
an appetizer.
No.
Often when you go to a restaurant and you get the crab cake, and it's always pricey because to me it's crab.
Right.
But more often than not, it's more filler than it is crab. Not with the Rastelli brand name and not with Egg Harbor. So you're getting, again, 8 of them. It breaks down to a price tag of a little over, I broke it down to the penny, $21.82. You would spend considerably more than that at a restaurant, and even most restaurants don't have this quality.
That's exactly right. And Dan, these, as you mentioned, these are huge, right? Brittany and I will often share one of these with something else for dinner because they're just so filling. They're so hearty. And every one of them is individually vacuum packaged like you see here. So we make it really simple for you to be able to do that, right? You can just take out one at a time. Again, every one of them individually vacuum packaged. And they're going to last in your freezer, Brittany, for about 18 months.
About 18 months,
so
yes.
You can ensure that when you get these at home, they're going to look just the way they do today, 12, 13, 14 months from now.
And we don't have a lot of
really
them.
nice.
My producer just informed me we've got less than 250 of them to go around. So when Brittany mentioned that these are done in boutique batch sizes, they don't do many at all. We never seem to have enough of these to go around.
it takes a while to make them in those small batches. So Ray and I wanted to show you guys a little bit of a way that you can kind of stretch them and make them go a long way. So I have one of the crab cakes right here. This is a 6-ounce portion. So you can obviously just cook this and cut it in half, and then you can have 2 3-ounce portions. But if you want it to look a little nicer, you could just take one, take it in half, and then you can actually make your own 3-ounce crab cake. One for you, Ray.
That's it.
And one for me. So on Valentine's Day, I might have made that look a little bit
So simple.
nicer. But you can kind of take each individual crab cake and turn it into 2. Or what I want to show you for Valentine's Day is you could turn it into at least 5 mushroom caps.
Oh.
So you know those stuffed mushroom caps
Yeah.
where you have to take the recipe and put it all together? Here, you just take one crab cake, defrost it. Now I have 5 generously sized mushroom caps here.
From one crab
And I have
cake.
one crab cake right here.
We're gonna have more than
and
enough.
we're gonna have, I was just gonna say, we're
Probably
still
coulda
gonna
made
have
about
left
8.
over. We could have had way more.
And I'm looking at the calendar. We're 15 days away from Lent. So
Yep,
that's something
February
to consider with seafood
22nd it
purchases
starts.
as well. Look at this.
And if
There's the happy
geez,
couple.
You got all the photos of me tonight.
there you go. If you want to
Feeding me crab.
see, I'll make you stuffed crab mushrooms, but I'll also torture you down the shore with a giant crab claw. Perfect marriage.
It is.
So again,
I
I'm
wouldn't
learning
change
something.
it.
I didn't realize, again, when you have one crab, the actual animal itself,
Right.
there's only 2 jumbo crab lumps from
Per
that.
crab.
The rest is kind of leftover meat. And that's what
right.
winds up in everybody else's crab cakes. And you'll see those lumps in each one. Yeah, in fact, and how many of those lumps wind up in a single crab cake? Because that's a big crab
Right.
cake, guys.
Oh, they are. There's probably easily 20 of them in here, right? So you have to think
Okay.
about that, 10 crabs to make one cake, maybe more. But you're right, Dan. You know, most people think crab, you think about those like gigantic Alaskan king crabs like Brittany was just trying to attack me with in that photo, right? That's not what these are, right? These are made from blue crabs, which is the meat is so much more flavorful, so much more tender, and that's really the difference here. That's why you only get 2 of those out of every crab. So it really is a delicacy, right? When you get to have these, it's not something you're eating 7 nights a week, but that's why we pack them in packs of 8. And they're gonna last you a nice amount of time in your freezer, 12 to 18 months, depending on how cold it is. But that's really the purpose of this. And keeping them individually vacuum packaged, you can enjoy them whenever you please.
If
They
you
have a really
love-
nice sweet flavor.
Yeah, if you adore crab cakes, then the auto delivery is a wonderful way for you to go. And I'll tell you why. Again, that auto delivery locks in that sale price for a full year. And I often wonder why our food vendors would do that, because it's almost a crazy business decision. We've all seen what the cost of eggs have done in the last
Right.
30 days. These are made with a little bit of mayo, egg, just a hint of mustard, and it's the perfect blending of all, but you're locking that price in, and it breaks down to, again, $21.82 per big jumbo 6-ounce crab cake. Now, you can cancel any time, but these are staples in a lot of people's refrigerator. And to me, it is a special occasion dinner. I can't eat crab. I'm actually allergic to shellfish, but it happens to be my wife's favorite meal.
Right.
Favorite meal.
And that's what's great about the individual packaging, because in
Yeah.
with my family, my mom's allergic to shellfish, but my dad loves it. So this is something that he can just take out one, and then
Right.
she can have a piece of salmon or a piece of cod or something else that's been individually packaged, and he can still have his crab cake. So the individual packaging kind of makes it accessible to everyone, even if you do have a shellfish allergy in your home like we
Sure.
do, and Dan like you do.
Right.
Every
And
time.
the other thing.
Every
yeah, I
time
was
my
just-
wife goes, I'm glad you have an allergy. More for me. Every
Right.
single time.
Right, and Dan, I was just gonna say, it is nice that they're individually packaged. They're also very easy to prepare. I want you to think about if you went to the grocery store, you went to a fine seafood establishment, what 1 pound of premium jumbo lump crab meat would cost you, right? Today, that's costing you well north of $60 to $70 a pound. That you need a few of those pounds to make all of these crab cakes. So when you think about that, you don't have to do any of the work. We've done all that for you. And Brittany made it so easy that you can just take these out, put them on a sheet pan, and in your oven, it's 25, 30 minutes?
Yep.
Right,
Absolutely.
so it's just that simple.
Or your air fryer, about 18.
Right. Air fryer is even easier. Your air fryer is your friend, really, with all these products.
Well, I'll tell you, everything that we've got in the hour for both Ray and Brittany, I'll tell you, you do not have to be a gourmet chef to turn out the finest restaurant quality dishes in your own home, because it all starts with the better protein. And a crab cake, trying to make a crab cake at home is not easy to do. This is a tried and true recipe. Preparing crab cake is tough. Cooking Egg Harbor or Rastelli is simple.
Well said.
It's so true, it really is. And when you do work in a restaurant, oftentimes, you know, obviously the chef is wonderful and he's culinary trained, but he's really choosing those premium ingredients and those quality ingredients to start with. And that if you do just have a crab cake in a wonderful restaurant, there's not sauces on top of it. There's not salsas. It's usually just the crab cake and a starch and vegetable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're getting here, like you said, Dan.
Kelly talks about the texture and bragging about just the bigger lump of crab and how it's sweeter and juicier and more enjoyable. We've got a lot more coming up as we continue. I was talking about the salmon burgers. Let me show those, because